Ajnanatimirādhasya Jnanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhavamaha Davagni Nirvapanam Sheyah Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadhu Jivanam Ananda Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Namah Kamalana Bhaya Namah Kamalamaline Namah Kamalpadaya Namaste Kamalekshana Yo Brahmanam Birdhati Purvam Yo Vedanscha Prahinoti Tasmai Tagvang Hadevamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye. Bole Radha Krishna Bhagavan ki jai, Siyavar Ramachandra ki jai, Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki jai. प्रिय भक्त समुदाय, दिव्यात्माओं, महानुभाव, dearest devotees of the Supreme Lord, the divine souls. First let me say Radhe Radhe to each and everyone, and my pranam, my humblest prostrations to all of you. Also to those who are viewing us on social media, Facebook, YouTube, Bhakti TV, etc. Very special welcome, Radhe Radhe, and pranam to all of you also. Continuing the commentary of this most divine, most sacred book, composed and written by Jagat Gurutam, Shri Kripalu Mahaprabhu, Bhakti Shatak Granth. Only 100 dohas, Shatak. But in these 100 dohas, all the philosophy of all the Vedic scriptures, Vedas, Purans, Mahabharata, Gita, Ramayana, etc. is contained in these 100 dohas. As we've been seeing so far, last night we completed Doha number 38. So right now we will go to the next Doha, number 39. जय राधे कृष्ण राधे 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 कृष्ण राधे
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 सब साधन संपन्न कहा पूछत सब संसार राधे राधे
सब साधन संपन्न कहा पूछत सब संसार राधे राधे
सब साधन संपन्न कहा पूछत सब संसार राधे राधे
सब साधन संपन्न कहा पूछत सब संसार राधे राधे
साधनहीन प्रपन्न कहा पूछत नंद कुमार 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 राधे राधे
जय राधे कृष्ण राधे 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 कृष्ण 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 राधे
बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय
जय
सब साधन संपन्न कहाँ पूछत सब संसार It's a feeling in the world because we have made this firm conviction in our mind from beginningless time that we will find happiness in the world. कि जो सुख हम चाहते हैं वो संसार में ही मिलेगा। ये बहुत दृढ़ निश्चय हो गया मन में। Very firm, this conviction in the mind. We want happiness. It's our nature to want happiness, being a fraction of happiness. But because of ignorance, because of identifying with the physical body, from beginningless time, we've always been searching for happiness in the world, in worldly objects, worldly persons. And so that conviction has become very firm in the mind. So, because of that, we generally think, people in the world, all of us, that when we have material possessions. When we have a big bank balance, we have children, we have friends, we have position in the world, that God is very happy with us. It's been preached also, that if you pray to God, all these things will happen. You'll be blessed with material possessions. People wish people that God will bless you with all the worldly possessions, wealth, health, strength. And we're very happy when someone tells us that you should have a very prosperous life. So this general thing is there, that we are very blessed when we have all these things in the world, and if we don't have it, or it gets destroyed, that God is very angry with us. We've done something wrong. God is very angry. And that's why we don't have things in the world. And the fact is something else. Generally, this is a divine law. Iha vaikasya namutra amutraikasya no iha. Iha chamutra chaikasya namutraikasya no iha. Has here, doesn't have there. Doesn't have here, has there. Have here, has there. Doesn't have here, doesn't have there. What does it mean? So, has here, doesn't have there, and doesn't have here, has there. This is natural. This is natural. This is a law. But doesn't have here, doesn't have there, and has here, has there. This is very rare, exception to the rule, but there are few. Not the rule. What does it mean? So has here, doesn't have there. This means these people have lot of worldly possessions, wealth, health, strength, position. And so there is no natural inclination for God or spirituality. There's very little attraction. Even if they seem to be praying, they may go to mandir also, do puja, visit place of pilgrimage, but it's all with the idea that they will get more of the world. There is no true spiritual inclination. The Bible says it is easier for a camel to enter the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God. In the Ramayana, Tulsidas ji says, Nahi ko as jagma jagmahi prabhuta pahi jahi madnahi. There never was, nor is, nor will there be such a person who have acquired something in excess in the world, position, wealth, beauty, something more than others, and has not become arrogant. Madnahi. Jahi madnahi. Shrimad bakkan keen kehi prabhuta badhiran kahi. It brings arrogance. So, has here, doesn't have there. It doesn't have here, has there, this is also natural. These people don't have too much in terms of materialism. So there's a natural inclination to think about God, to do bhakti, etc. This too was natural. Now, as I said, there are two exceptions to the rule. Has here, has there. This is very rare, but they are few. These people, even though they are very wealthy, they have material possession, they may have position in the world, etc., yet they are devoted to God. Prapya punyakritam lokanushitva shashvati samaha shuchinam shrimatam gehu yoga bhrashto bhijayate. Chapter 6, verse 41, Gita. These people, they had done great devotion in their past life. Bahut bhakti ki, true devotion. But they did not attain God realization. There's some percentage remaining for them to do. They have acquired 80%, 90% love for God. But they did not attain God realization, so they have to take birth again. These people, even though they may be born in very wealthy homes, very beautiful, etc., yet there is no attachment to the material world and material things due to the sanskars, mental tendencies developed in the past life, the bhakti in them. They have everything, yet they're devoted to God. This is very rare, but they're few. The second exception doesn't have here, doesn't have there. These people do not have material possession. They have nothing in the world, yet they have no time for God. To forget God is quite natural for those who have material wealth, etc. Quite natural. Yet, there are those who don't have anything. And still they will curse God or they don't have any belief in God. So this is exception. The rule is, has here, doesn't have there. This brings arrogance, pride. There's only one cure for such a person who is intoxicated with wealth, position, etc. In Bhagavad Mahapuran it says, Asatah Shri Madandhasya Daridram Paramanjanam Atmaupamyena Bhutani Daridrah Paramikshate. 10th canto, 10th chapter, 13th verse. Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran. It's only when the thing that is causing that person to be arrogant, the wealth, etc., is taken away, is that person brought back to their senses. We have to understand, it's not the attainment, but the loss of worldly possession, which is a sign of God's grace. Shri Krishna says very clearly in Bhagavad Mahapuran, Tam Bhranshayami Sampadbhyo Yasya Chechamya Nugraham. Bhagavad. Shri Krishna says, I take away all the worldly possessions, health, wealth, status, beauty, family, everything from those I shower my grace upon. Yasyaham anugrhnami harishye tadhanam shanaihi. Bhagavad. Again, the Bhagavad is saying, God is saying, I forcibly take away all the worldly possessions of those I shower my grace upon, so that they will accept no one and nothing in the world but me alone as belonging to them. You see, when we have all these things, look, let's suppose that someone is very rich, very wealthy. This person may be illiterate, never went to school, can't even read or write, but he's surrounded by so many people. a doctor, a scientist, teacher, politician. So many people surround him. They seem to be well-wishers. He may say the most foolish thing. Everyone says, "Oh, yes, sir, you are 100% correct." Tomorrow, that wealthy person becomes bankrupt. The stock market crashes, something happens, and he becomes bankrupt. All the well-wishers disappear. The rich man sees the doctor going somewhere. "Hey, doctor! Hello, hello!" Doctor says, "I'm too busy. My wife is very sick, doc. I don't have time." You don't have time? But before you used to come to my home, without being invited, you would come and you will sit for hours. The doctor says, "Mr. Rich Man, or used to be rich man, you are very naive. I am that bird, मैं वही पक्षी हूँ, that when there are fruits on the tree, nice sweet fruits, the birds, without being invited, the bird will come. They will eat, they will sing, sit. And when the fruits are finished, the bird flies away. Now if anyone even calls the bird will never come. It is not, you think I'm attached to you? No. It was the hope of getting the big payment from you that I was coming all the time." So people in the world, they bow to those who have wealth, etc., position. Because we, by nature, we are selfish. We want. Jati kachu nij swarat hoi, ta par mamta kare sab koi. Sur nar muni sab kai yah riti, swarat lagi karahi sab priti. Where our selfishness will be fulfilled, we think someone can give us something, we will give high praise, we will bow to them, we salute them. That same person, today he is the president, everyone is saluting him. And tomorrow he loses the presidency or he becomes a beggar, nobody even looks at him. It's nature. Because we are so in the world, this is the rule. People love or they attach to those who have material things, material possessions, wealth, position, because generally we want to get from them. We want something. We are selfish. Sarvaha swartham samihate. Everyone is selfish by nature, as long as we are under Maya. So generally this is the case. But when it comes to Bhagavan, to the saints, whose Bhagavan personified, is the complete opposite. We may have nothing in the world. We look at examples like Shabadi. What does Shabadi have? We hear this katha of this great devotee in the Rama in Shabadi. Shabadi lived in the forest, she had nothing. Nothing. An old lady, belonged to a very low caste, Bill. Wild people, forest people, forest dwellers. She never went to school, she didn't know any mantra, anything. Yet Bhagavan came to her. Not only came to her, he ate her jutha, the fruits that she tasted. Why? Because of her love for the Lord. So Bhagavan doesn't look at what we have materially, because he doesn't need anything from us. In the world, we go to those who have because we think they can give us something. And those people, They're very difficult for them to get to go to God because there's so much abhiman, pride. They become arrogant. These things, little things cause arrogance. The more you have, more arrogance. People start thinking themselves to be little Bhagavan, little gods. They can do anything. One guy said once, I can just go and shoot anybody and kill them and nobody would say anything about it. So much arrogance because of his wealth and position. This is what it does. He did a lot of wrong things. Everybody turned a blind eye. Everybody knows how much wrong things he has done. Yet nobody cares. We don't care about that. We're going to get into that. There's too much politics. I'm just an example. But this is the nature. It's important for us to understand this. So God and the saint doesn't want anything. They have everything. They don't need anything from us. This is why God is called Akaran Karun, causelessly merciful. He showers His grace without any reason, any cause. He doesn't need. He has everything. He is the giver and benefactor of all. Everything we have comes from Him. So He loves us without any reason. So you may not have anything in the world. You may not have even gone to school. You have no education. You have no degree. You have no position. You have nothing, and yet you're very dear to God. All because of our love for Him. Next one, number 40. Jai Radhe Krishna Radhe 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 Krishna Radhe
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 मैं मेरा दोनों बहे ज्ञानी न ज्ञान मझार राधे राधे
मैं मेरा दोनों बहे ज्ञानी न ज्ञान मझार राधे राधे
मैं मेरा दोनों बहे ज्ञानी न ज्ञान मझार राधे राधे
मैं मेरा दोनों बहे ज्ञानी न ज्ञान मझार राधे राधे
मैं मेरा दोनों रहे प्रेम के दरबार राधे राधे
मैं मेरा दोनों रहे प्रेमी न के दरबार राधे राधे
मैं मेरा दोनों रहे प्रेमिन के दरबार राधे राधे
मैं मेरा दोनों रहे प्रेमी न के दरबार राधे राधे
जय राधे कृष्ण राधे 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 कृष्ण 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 राधे।
बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। मैं मेरा दोनों बहे ज्ञान इन ज्ञान मझार। मैं, I, the word मैं in Hindi means I, मेरा, mine, mine, मेरा घर, मेरे बेटे, etc. So mine, something belongs to me, my possession. My, mera. Those following the path of Gyan, or whom we call Gyanis, they do not want these two things. They say you have to get rid of the feeling of I and mine. As long as we have the feeling of I and mine, one cannot attain moksha, liberation. The aim of the Gyanis is to attain moksha, to merge into the formless aspect of Sri Krishna, Brahma, or to merge into Sri Krishna. So, they consider this path of Gyan, the feeling of I and mine, this is a two obstacle in terms of attaining moksha. So the main thing in the path of Gyan is to get rid of the feeling of I. That feeling should not be there, I. Nor the feeling of mine. Nothing belongs to us. Everything belongs to God, and I am also God. So that feeling, should not be identity of I. Aham Brahmasmi. Tat Tvamasi, thou art that. It starts from there. And then eventually, Aham Brahmasmi. So this is the path of Gyan, very briefly. On the other hand, मैं मेरा दोनों रहे प्रेम रखे दरबार. But when it comes to the path of bhakti, so the path of Gyan, the Gyani, they want to get rid, the aim is to get rid of the feeling of I and mine, मैं और मेरा. इसको निकालना, हटाना. But in the path of love, prem, bhakti, prem means the same thing. Love in God. The path of bhakti is the path of love in God. The path of prem. So when it comes to the path of bhakti, those who love Sri Krishna, who loves God, the saints and the scriptures tell us, keep my mera. This we discussed before, also in Doha before. It's just been repeated here. In the scriptures, sometimes things get repeated. There's not many teaching. One thing gets repeated thousands of times. Whether it's Ramayana, whether it's Gita, whether it's Bhagavad, whether it's Ved, one thing gets repeated again and again in different ways. With the hope eventually it will go and stick in our head, in our intellect. वहां जाके बैठ जाएंगे, बैठ, दृढ़ से. It will get firmly embedded that it should not go away. So, just in the same way that we will see in the Bhakti Shatak, two things have been repeated sometimes. The philosophy. And put in a different way. So keep the feeling of Mai and Mera, the path of Bhakti. As we last time discussed, Mai, I, keep it. Ar, Das. I am a Das, a servant of Sri Krishna. Keep it. In the path of Bhakti, we don't get rid of anything. We keep everything. Keep the mind, keep the senses, keep the intellect. Keep all the attachment, keep everything. Just turn it to the area of Bhagwan. Just change the area. That's all we have to do. Bhakti, that's why bhakti is so easy. Everything we have already, just keep it. If it's directed to the world, then we get attached to the world, we get worldly fruits. We keep rotating in 8.4 million forms of life. But in the path of bhakti, all it tells us, keep it and just change the area. Instead of being attached to the world, instead of directing our energies in the world, just change it to the spiritual area. This is bhakti. Keep everything. So just add something now. Keep the I, but add das. Das means servant. Jiver Shorup hoy, Krishner Nitya Das. The soul, the Jivatma who we are, by nature is an eternal servant of Shri Krishna. Last night we saw in one of the dohas that Shri Krishna is the soul of all souls. Krishna menam vehitva matmanam akhilatmanam jagadhitaya sopyatra dehiva bhati mayaya. Bhagavad Mahapuran, 10th canto, 14th chapter, 55th verse. Shri Krishna is the soul of all souls. We saw the Vedas say, Yasyatma Shariram, Yasyaksharam Shariram. The Jivatma, the individual soul who we are, is the body of God. So just as our body serves us, the soul, the Atma, this soul is the soul of this body, in the same way, our soul, who we are, is being the Shri Krishna being the soul of all souls. So our soul being the body of Shri Krishna, is our nature to serve Him. So it's natural. So I am a servant. Shri Krishna is my master, and Mera, keep the Mera also. In the world, Mera is very bad. My house, my motor car, my bank balance is bad when we have attachment in the world. But let's change the Mera to Shri Krishna. Make Shri Krishna our everything. We say the prayer, as I said before, is a prayer. All Hindu, everyone who calls himself a Hindu, if he doesn't know any mantra, he knows one mantra. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva. Tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva. Tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva. Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Mata pita bhrata sharanam suhit nivasa. Every relation of the soul is only with Shri Krishna. So in this mantra we are saying Tvam Ev. Tvam, you, Ev alone. Hey Shri Krishna, Hey Radharani, you alone are my mommy, you alone are my daddy, you alone are my friend, you alone are my companion, you alone are my wealth, my. Keep it. You alone are my knowledge, you alone are my everything. Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. So make Shri Krishna our everything. Keep the Mera. Mera Krishna. Meri Radhe Rani. Everything. That is the bhakti. So the devotee, the path of love in God, he keeps the I and the mind. He keeps the Mai and the Mera. He just has to change a little bit, that's all. Take it from the world and direct everything to Shri Krishna. Number 41. Jai Radhe Krishna Radhe 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 Krishna Radhe
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 देश काल नहीं नियम कछु नहीं कछु शिष्टाचार। राधे राधे।
देश काल नहीं नियम कछु, नहीं कछु शिष्टाचार। राधे राधे।
देश काल नहीं नियम कछु, नहीं कछु शिष्टाचार। राधे राधे।
देश काल नहीं नियम कछु, नहीं कछु शिष्टाचार। राधे राधे।
सरल हृदय नहीं छल कपट, प्रेम पंथ बलिहार। राधे राधे।
सरल हृदय नहीं छल कपट, प्रेम पंथ बलिहार। राधे राधे।
सरल हृदय नहीं छल कपट, प्रेम पंथ बलिहार। राधे राधे।
सरल हृदय नहीं छल कपट, प्रेम पंथ बलिहार। राधे राधे।
जय राधे कृष्ण राधे राधे, राधे कृष्ण 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 राधे।
बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। देश काल नहीं नियम कछु, नहीं कछु शिष्टाचार। देश, स्थान, प्लेस, काल, टाइम, नियम, रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस, शिष्टाचार, social formalities. When it comes to bhakti, the path of love in God, these things are not there. Where you should do bhakti, the place, what time you should do bhakti, what rules and regulations you should follow, get up so much time at this time in the morning, bathe so many times during the day, face this direction, that direction. No. No such rules and regulations, nor any kind of social formalities. How you should behave, how you should speak. Nothing like that. In other parts, Gyan, Yoga, Karma, there are lots of rules and regulations. In the path of Karma, Varnashram Dharma, the path of Vedic rites and rituals, duty, etc., there are so many rules and regulations. Dharma sampadyate shadbhi radharmastu viparyayah. If one is doing some ritual, Vedic Havan, Dharma, 6 conditions has to be fulfilled. And in Kali Yuga, all impossible. 6 conditions. Desh, the place where you're going to do the Havan, the place has to be pure. Nothing wrong should have ever been done there before. Kal, the time has to be fixed very carefully. Muhurt, auspicious time. Dravya, the money that is being used has to be pure. What is pure money is different. Whole long discussion. The material has to be, the samagri has to be pure. The one, karta, the one who is performing, that how in the yagna has to have a perfect knowledge of Sanskrit and has to be completely honest. Mantra. If there is the slightest mistake in the pronunciation of a Vedic mantra, not the word, swar. Swar means this is swar. Just in the intonation of how you say the mantra. Mispronunciation, the whole meaning changes. Instead of benefit, we can get harm. A niyam. The laws and regulations governing has to be in direct, exactly how it's written in the Vedas. The part of Gyan, very more difficult. Kahat kathin samujhat kathin sadhan kathin vivek. Kahat kathin, to talk about it, extremely very difficult. To understand samujhat, more difficult, and to do it, kshurasya dharan shita duratyaya kathopanishad. The Vedas say the path of Gyan is so dangerous, like walking on the sharp edge of a sword, so difficult. Yoga, very difficult. Yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, samadhi. So there are so many rules and regulations when it comes to all the other paths. When it comes to bhakti, no, nothing like that. Where should you sit down and chant the name of Bhagwan, think about God? Anywhere you want, in the toilet, in the dirtiest place, wherever you want. We cannot make God impure. There's no rules and regulations. Anywhere, anytime. Every time is auspicious to think about Bhagwan, to chant His name. Bhagwan Himself makes that which is inauspicious, auspicious. His name has the power. No rules and regulations as to how many times you should bathe, etc. What kind of clothes you should wear, what kind of formalities you should observe socially, nothing like that. One thing, the part of bhakti talks about sarala subhav. Sarala subhav naman kutilai. The heart has to be made saral, simple, pure. There should not be kutilai, crookedness, deceit, fraud. God only wants a pure heart. Nirmal man jan so mohi pava, mohi kapat chhal chhidra na bhava. Man kram vachan chhari chaturai, bhajat hi kripa karat raghurai. The moment we give up all tricks and tactics, deceitfulness, and surrender to Shri Krishna, He showers His grace upon us. Bhagwan Shri Ram is saying to Sugriv, only those who pure in heart, pure mind, can know me, see me, attain me. I cannot tolerate deception, deceit, fraud. So, all making the heart pure, simple. Saral means simple. Simplicity is compulsory. Naivety, simplicity. Don't think I am so smart. Nobody can outsmart me. We think I am the more smart we in the world, the further we from Bhagwan. The more we think we are cunning and nobody can, naivety, saralata, simplicity, soft, naram. This is all important. This is what makes God, wins the saint, wins God when we become like that. He loves the most naive. In Bhagavad Mahapuran, it says two kind of people can know God, can see Krishna, attain Krishna. The extremely foolish person and the really wise person. Extremely foolish because there is no pride that I know anything. So it's easy for such a person to accept. And the truly wise, he knows that I don't know. The truly wise person knows that I don't know anything. But the one in between, we people who think we know a little bit, oh, big trouble. Everywhere doubt. Doubt. Logic. Why is so-and-so written in Ramayana? Why is so-and-so written in Gita? Why did Sri Ram do this? Why did Sri Ram hide behind a tree and kill Bali? Why did Sri Krishna perform those actions with the gopis? Everywhere doubt. Buddhi lagate, buddhi. Tark. Tark, vitark, everywhere. It's very dangerous. So that's why it's so hard for us to surrender. So naivety, simplicity. Bhagwan Shri Ram is saying to residents of Ayodhya, how to attain me? Sarala swabhav naman kutilai. Simplicity, naivety in heart. There should not be any kutilai, crookedness, deceitfulness, fraud, cunningness. Then we'll get very close. So that's the most important thing. That's all. To get close to Shri Krishna. Number 42. Jai Radhe Krishna Radhe 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 Krishna Radhe
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 Jeev Maya दुह शक्ति है शक्तिमान भगवान राधे राधे
जीव माया दुई शक्ति है शक्तिमान भगवान राधे राधे
जीव माया दुई शक्ति है शक्तिमान भगवान राधे राधे
जीव माया दुई शक्ति है शक्तिमान भगवान राधे राधे
शक्ति ही भेद अभेद भी शक्तिमान तेजान राधे राधे
शक्ति भेद अभेद भी शक्तिमान तेजान राधे राधे
शक्ति ही भेद अभेद भी शक्तिमान तेजान राधे राधे Jai Radhe Krishna Radhe, Radhe Radhe Krishna Radhe.
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 Bole Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. In the Doha before, to help you understand a little more, I'll give an example of how God loves and how simplicity wins over God. Once, this has actually happened, an incident in this Kali Yuga itself, not too long ago. There was a Panditji and in his home he had a little temple, mandir, and he had so many forms of Bhagwan. Sita Ram, Radha Krishna, Hanuman, Shiv, Ganesh, so many different forms. And there was a boy who used to come and help the Panditji to keep the mandir clean, to help cook and do seva. One day, the Panditji had to go to another village to do some puja, etc. So he told the little boy, look, I'm going away for about a week, and I offer bhog, like we offer bhog. Here also, at Yugal Kunj, we offer bhog to Bhagwan. We make it prasad, whatever we cook, when we give afterwards, we have prasad afterwards, so we offer to Bhagwan 3 times a day before we eat. So Panditji says to the boy, look, I feed the Bhagwan, we have so many Bhagwan here, and I offer bhog to them. So there's so much things already, you don't have to worry. Everyone, the Panditji will do puja, etc., and they will give Siddha. They will give gifts, etc. So they will give rice and dal and all these things. So there are so much things already stored there. So you make some before every day, offer bhog. And don't eat until you offer bhog to Bhagwan. Offer bhog to them, to Bhagwan, and then you should eat. And do your seva, normally as you do. Keep the temple clean, etc., the mandir. So the boy said, okay, innocently. So Panditji went to the other village, and this boy, he followed the instruction. He made some rice and boiled some of the peas and made dal, soup, and some sabji, etc. Put it in a nice plate and put it before Bhagwan. And he said, please come and eat. But this is all murti. No one came and eat. And the boy, remember, Panditji said to him, until you offer bhog, until they don't eat, you should not eat. But in his mind, offering bhog means they have to eat. How Murti is going to eat? So this thing in his mind, he was so simple in his heart, that he understood that the Panditji meant that until they don't eat, come and eat, you should not eat. So a few days went like this, and he wasn't eating because they didn't eat. And his little boy, he's not eating, so chakkar aane lage. He started to get very weak. The head started spinning. Very hungry. So he said, this is not working. So then after a few days, he cooked and he took the the thali with all the things that he had cooked, put it before the murti, and took a stick, lathi. Come and eat, or I'm going to beat all of you here. My head is spinning, I'm feeling faint, and you people not eating. Either you come and eat, or I'll start beating from the side. He has such a firm conviction that they're going to eat. There was no doubt in his mind. There was something stopping them, but he had the faith that they will eat, they're going to eat. And he came with a stick. I will start to beat now all the Bhagwan. They came out of not the murti, they came out of the murti. Sitaram, Radha, Krishna, everybody came out and ate. So after a week, 2 weeks, the Panditji returned. Having returned, he was very hungry. He had traveled a long distance. He told the boy, can you cook something and bring for me? The boy said, everything is finished? Everything is finished? What do you mean everything? There's a whole big storehouse of things I had gathered here. How do you mean everything finished? He says, these Bhagwan, they bahut petu hai. These Bhagwan that you keep, they are very greedy. Greedy? They ate everything. Ate everything? How do you mean ate everything? Yes, I cooked every day and they just ate everything. It's all finished. This Panditji started thinking, my whole life I've been offering bhog and nobody never ate. And this little boy, he said that he offered and everybody ate. Something is wrong. So he said to the boy, okay, go and beg. Go to the village, ask the villagers, get some and bring it. I want you to cook and offer. Let me see. So the little boy went, he cooked, and he went with a stick. The Pandit didn't see Bhagwan, but he saw the food going. He didn't have the blessing of that faith of the boy, but he saw the food going. He almost fell unconscious. So this is what Bhagwan. That because of the faith, the simplicity, he had the faith that Bhagwan will eat. We don't have that faith. That's why Bhagwan doesn't eat. How many of us, when you offer bhog, did you check afterwards in the bhog, did Bhagwan take a piece of the apple? Did he take a piece of the banana? Did he put his hand? Did he take a little bit of the rice, a little bit of the saag, the sabji? Did we check? Some people, in our home also too, we do bhog. And we just offer and then we eat. Nobody bothers to check. You ask somebody, why didn't you check? But Bhagwan doesn't really eat. Ooh. Even before offering, you already had that faith, that thought in your mind, Bhagwan doesn't eat. Then why are you making this offering? When you already have this thing in your mind, Bhagwan is not going to eat, why offer it? To show everybody that I am civilized? On the other hand, if somebody offers a bhog, he puts the bhog and offer. When he opens the eyes after offering to Bhagwan, he checks and he sees nothing has been taken and tears start flowing from the eyes. That Hey Shri Radha, Radha Rani, Hey Shri Krishna, Hey Sitaram, I am such a sinner. मैं इतना पापी हूँ that today also you have not come. Then I have to accept that level of devotion. But we fail 100%. We make an act of doing devotion, we call that bhakti, faith, belief in God. This is where we have that faith. Have the faith. One day He will come. He will come and eat. Radharani will come, but we have to have the faith. That's all. That simplicity, that faith, that belief. यही चाहते हैं That's why he says, Sarala Swabhav na man kutilai. Next verse, the 42. Jivu Maya dui Shakti hai, Shaktiman Bhagavan. So Maya, we hear this word Jiv means soul, and Maya. Most people say Maya doesn't exist. The Gyanis, those who follow the path of Gyan, they don't consider that Maya is something that exists. Especially the followers of Jagat Guru Shankaracharya, they say Maya is an imagination of the mind. Mithya, Jagan Mithya. That everything in this world is an imagination of the mind. Anyhow, I've told you before, the Vedas and all the scriptures tell us, no, Maya is not an imagination. Maya is a power that belongs to Shri Krishna. Mayam tu prakritim vidyan mainam tu Maheshvaranand. Tasya veva bhutaistu vyaptam sarvamidam jagat. Shvetashvatara chapter 4 verse 10. The Vedas are saying, Maya, the governor of Maya is Shri Krishna. Vadhyaksha hai Maya. Maya is a power that belongs to Shri Krishna. Gita also, Bhumirapuna lovayo khammano buddhirevacha ahankara itiya me bhinna prakritiristadha apariyamitasnanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhuta mahabaho yedam dharyate jagat. Chapter 7 verse 4 and 5, Gita. Maya. These are two powers that belongs to Shri Krishna. Maya and Jeev. Jeev, ek Jeev Shakti, ek Maya Shakti. One is a power called, so Jeev, there's a power called Jeev Shakti. This is a power that belongs to Shri Krishna. Not us Jeev. We are part of that Jeev Shakti of Shri Krishna. This is the power. The Jeev Shakti is the power of Shri Krishna. And Maya. So this world is made up of three things. Brahm, Jeev, Maya. God, Jeev, the individual souls, and Maya. These are three powers. Bhagavan is Shaktiman. He is the governor of both Maya as well as Jeev. He is the governor of these two powers. So between this Bhagavan and the Jeev and Maya, there is Bheda Bhed, Sambandh. Bhed means difference. Abhed means non-difference. So there's Bheda Bhed, Sambandh, relation of difference as well as non-difference. There are things in these three, Bhagavan, Jeev and Maya, that are alike, and there are big differences also. To go in detail, this will take many lectures. Just briefly I'm explaining here. So, as far as existence is concerned, from whence has Maya been in existence? From whence has the Jeev been in existence? From whence Bhagavan has been in existence? All are eternal. So, as far as existence is concerned, all are alike. Abhed Sambandh. Gya Gyau Dvavaja Visha Nishavaja Heka Bhokti Bhogyata Yukta Anantaschatma Vishwarupo Hyakarta Tayam Yada Vindate Brahma Me Tat Shvetashvatara Chapter 1 verse 9. Ajam ekam lohit shukla krishnam bahavi praja shrijamanam swarupah ajo heko jushamanunushete jahatinam bhukta bhoga majonya. Shvetashvatara Chapter 4 verse 5. Maya has been called Aja. Aja means unborn, eternal, beginningless. Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya Samana briksham parikasva jate tayoranyah pipalam swadat nashnan nanyo abhichakashiti. Shvetashvatara Chapter 4 verse 6. Many, many Ved mantras. This Ved mantra is saying, just as Bhagwan, the Supreme Lord, Supreme Power God is eternal, beginningless, never had a beginning. In the same way, the individual soul, Jivatma, is also unborn, eternal, beginningless. Never had a beginning, will never have an end. So, as far as existence is concerned, Maya, Jeev and Bhagavan, they are all unborn, eternal, beginningless. Never had a beginning, will never have an end. No one can destroy Maya, not even Bhagavan. We become free from the clutches of Maya. Maya will, when we attain God realization, Maya will not be able to affect us anymore. But no one can destroy Maya because Maya is the power of Shri Krishna and is eternal, beginningless. So no one can destroy Maya, not even Bhagavan. So as far as existence is concerned, all three are alike. But there are big differences also. Maya is non-conscious, jad, inert. एक रचई जग गुण बस जाके प्रभु प्रेरित नहीं निज बल ताके. Maya is inert, non-conscious. Maya creates the world, but not by itself. Through the inspiration of Bhagavan. For example, let's suppose this is an ox. This ox has no life, no consciousness. But it can do things that the hand cannot do. It can cut down a huge tree. But does the ox cut the tree by itself? No. The hand plus the ox is able to cut the tree. If the hand minuses his power, the ox again becomes inert, non-conscious. In the same way, God plus Maya creates the world. Maya cannot do anything by itself. So Maya is non-conscious. Jeev is conscious. As far as consciousness, Jeev is conscious, Shri Krishna is also conscious, Chetan. But there's a big difference. Bhagwan is Vibhuchit. Vibhuchit means supremely conscious. While the Jivatma, the individual soul, is Anuchit. Anuchit. To help you understand what the difference is, like the sun. Bhagavan is like the sun. The sun is still limited, but it's an example. As far as the light is concerned, Bhagavan is like the sun. Now, there are things like copper, gold, etc. They also have light. But if you put it in a dark room, you cannot see it. They also have light, but you cannot see it if you put it in a dark room. So the Jeev, the individual soul, is like the light in the copper, the gold, etc. So Anuchit. Consciousness is there, but very small. Where Bhagwan is like Surya Saman. Supremely conscious, unlimited. Bhagwan is also Sarvagya, all-knowing. While we, the individual souls, are Alpagya, ignorant or knowing very little. So there are very big differences also. So this is the Bhed Abhed. Even though the power cannot be separated from that which gives the power. Meaning, for example, the power of fire, fire has a power, the power of fire to burn. Can we separate the fire from the power of the fire to burn? No. In the same way, since the Jeev and Maya is the power of Shri Krishna, they cannot be separated from him. They belong, they are in him, but, so that is the Abhed Sambandh. But there's also Bhed, differences. Even though All three are eternal, beginningless. Sanatan, Jeev, Brahma, Maya, yet they have huge differences also. Maya is non-conscious. Maya doesn't have knowledge, nothing. Only thing Maya has is existence, beginningless. Aja means eternal, beginningless. Jeev has some more. When it comes to Bhagwan, Jeev is also conscious. Jeev also has knowledge. Very small, but knowledge is there. Existence, eternal is all. That, as far as existence is concerned, we can challenge Bhagwan. You are unborn, eternal, beginningless. We, the individual soul, are also unborn, eternal, beginningless. That's it. Nothing else we can challenge Bhagwan with. Bhagwan is conscious, Vibhuchit, supreme consciousness. We are also conscious, Jivatma, but Anuchit, very small, minute. Very small. Like as I give the example, there's light in copper, light in gold, brass, etc. But you can't see it. God is Sarvagya, all-knowing. Sarvagya means not knowing what somebody is thinking. What does Sarvagya mean when it comes to Bhagwan? There are uncountable solar systems in the universe. Uncountable. Every solar system has a planet Earth. There are uncountable planet Earths. Just like the one we are living in. So there are uncountable souls in the uncountable solar system. Uncountable planet Earths. And Bhagwan is sitting in the heart of each and every individual soul. That's what it means by Sarvagya as far as Bhagwan is concerned. All knowing, all seeing, all pervading. We don't even know our own self. We don't even know our own mind. So ignorant we are. So little knowledge we have. So there's likeness, non-difference, and there's also big differences. Even though we are the power of Shri Krishna. Jivatma. That's it. I think I'll finish here today. We'll continue from number 43 next time. Radha Krishna Bhagwan ki jai, Siyavar Ramchandra ki jai, Pavan Sutta Hanuman ki jai, Srimad Sadguru Sarkar ki jai, Shri Yugal Kunj ki jai, Shri Guru Dham Bhakti Mandir ki jai. जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे, जय जय श्री राधे.